glasses, or spectacles. Lots of people need them. I wear them, although I can still see fairly well without them. Throughout most of history, though, I probably would have just had to deal with things in the distance being kind of blurry. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that I had to read distant road signs, I probably wouldn't have even gotten them. If I were a peasant working in the fields thousands of years ago, I probably would have been rather fine without them, although I may have had a bit of trouble noticing a wolf stalking my sheep off in the distance or something. But not everyone was so lucky. Some people had really bad eyesight, especially as they got older, and some of them needed to read. Thankfully, however, in the Middle Ages, there was a new invention which could help solve that problem. The study of optics has been around for a long time. People have been using lenses to reflect and magnify light for millennia. And in ancient Greece, thinkers like Euclid, who's best known for his works on geometry, and Ptolemy, who's best known for his works on astronomy, theorized as to how this worked. Ptolemy's book on optics even mentions how images could be magnified with lenses. It's possible that in the ancient world, lenses were used to help with things like reading. However, the evidence for this is rather limited. The study of optics became really big, though, in the Islamic world, once these Greek texts were translated into Arabic. Muslim mathematicians and philosophers like Ibn Sul and Ibn al-Haytham commented on and improved upon the works of Ptolemy in their own books on optics. And around the same time, reading stones, which are lenses made of glass or quartz placed on a page to magnify words and make them easier to read, became widespread for the first time. This was definitely helped by the fact that glassworking was becoming quite advanced in the Islamic world, and clear glass was a lot more common. Now, you may have noticed that I've been focused a lot on reading, and that's largely because of what I basically said in the intro. Most people would have had little practical use for lens magnification, let alone be able to afford the lenses. And that's also because of the fact that they were experimenting with convex rather than concave lenses, which magnify things and make them bigger, whereas convex lenses are the ones that are used for nearsightedness or myopia, which is what I have. So because of that, the most practical use for them was for readers who were farsighted and therefore couldn't focus on things that were close up, which is something that happens to a lot of people as they get older. And there were plenty of scholars with aged eyes in the Islamic world. Anyway, as with other aspects of Greek and Arabic knowledge, like medicine and astronomy, optics was brought to the medieval Latin West with Latin translations of Arabic works, starting largely in the 12th century. In this case, through translations of the works of the Muslim scholars that I just mentioned. Big works on optics were written by people like Robert Grosseteste and Roger Bacon in the 13th century, and both of them note the ability of lenses to magnify objects and even words. And with this reintroduction of knowledge about optics, and especially the writings of Ibn al-Haytham, we finally see the first glasses being made in the late 13th century. That is, two lenses attached together and worn on the face. These glasses were largely reading glasses, and they were pince-nez, or nose pinchers, also called rivet glasses. The frames could be made of all sorts of materials like wood, metal, or even ivory or bone. They were probably invented in Italy, with Pisa being a possible place of origin. In 1306, a Dominican friar, Giordano da Pisa, claims to have met the guy who he says invented them not even 20 years earlier. Italy makes sense as the birthplace of glasses because there were a lot of specialized artisans there, including glassmakers. In fact, Venice was long renowned for its glass, and it wasn't long before the Venetians were producing eyeglasses in abundance and selling them across Europe and beyond. Venetian eyeglasses were popular in part because of the glass used. It was made on the island of Murano, just outside of Venice, and it was famous at the time for being very clear and fine because of the specific high-quality materials used in its production, like local pebbles of almost pure silica and soda ash obtained through trade with the Middle East. Of course, the skill of Venice's glassmakers should also get some credit. the trade in Venetian eyeglasses grew rather quickly, and a separate eyeglass maker guild was established in 1320, separate from the guild for makers of other glass products. But why? Why did they invent glasses? It might seem like a matter of course, but people had been without them for thousands of years, so it's still a worthwhile question to ask. Well, just like in the Islamic world, Christian Europe had plenty of scholars who did lots of reading, and glasses helped them continue reading as they got older, rather than having someone read for them as likely happened in the past. But especially after the 12th century, the written word became more important. Universities were established, trade flourished as cities grew, and written contracts became more important. Merchants, officials, and notaries needed to be able to read those contracts, and merchants also began to keep ledgers, as did bankers, since banking, another medieval invention, became more and more important. A lot of these trends began in Italy, or at least had a big presence in Italy, which is another reason why the invention of glasses there makes a lot of sense. Even those who didn't do a whole lot of reading but still needed to observe details, like artists and artisans, could benefit from having glasses. Because of this, they spread rather quickly in the late Middle Ages, and we also start to see them depicted more frequently in art as well, especially in the 1400s and into the Renaissance. In the late 1400s, developments and experiments in lens crafting finally led to the creation of glasses with concave lenses for nearsighted people. As you can imagine, now that people could wear lenses on their face, it was actually practical to use them to treat nearsightedness, since they weren't nearly as situational anymore as a reading stone. Though pince-nez are still hard to wear all day long, but they would become more practical once bits would be developed to hold them around the ears. Though, as far as I can tell, this wouldn't come until after the Middle Ages. In any case, that is how an invention which is so integral to so many people's lives today first came to be. It's just one of the many ways in which the Middle Ages has and continues to have an impact on our modern world, whether people realize it or not. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. I'll see you next time.